What's up, everybody? Tonight we're going to check out my Marshall Origin 50. The Marshall Origin 50 is the newest amp to the chrisCANguitar room of amps, if you want to even call it that. Not even a room, a studio close walls stuff. I still have the Boss Katana amp. That's still the main amp you guys hear on the channel because it's easier just to go directly into the interface. I bought this, I want to say maybe, about 3 weeks ago? No. Because we played a show, hang on, Blue Jay played a show on the 16th. I got this on Thursday the 12th of March. I just wanted a Marshall amp for no particular reason than just to have it. I haven't owned an amp with this brand name since I think 2022 or 23 when I moved out here. My first two amps were actually Marshall's, a 20 watt solid state amp that came with two 1x10s to look like a full stack. And then once I worked a coffee house job, I was able to save enough money to buy a Marshall, I believe it was the 80 valve solid state. And that amp was surprisingly loud and sounded great for a solid state. I ran the DoD death metal distortion into the distortion channel, just had the gain like at 2 o'clock. It sounded phenomenal. I used that for all my punk stuff, the death metal band, and other various things to where when until I sold it before I moved out here. So it was either going to be this head, the 20 watt version, which is on sale here at a local store for about $320, which is a steal. This brand new is $799. You can still find used ones for maybe $500, so it's still a great deal for an amp that's this insanely powerful and mimics a plexi. But my brain went off track here. So what the hell was I saying before that? Oh yeah, it was either between this one, the 20 watt version, or the Studio JCM 800. But the price difference is so insane that I just went for the middle ground. And I'm glad I went with the 50 watts. The 20 watts good. I played it here in a local shop. It's still extremely loud, but I have way more headroom with this. We played a show, again, like I said, on the 16th at a local venue here. And I was not in the monitors whatsoever. It was set at 10 watts at the volume with 1 1/4. The song you heard, hang on a second. I'm running at 1 watt and the volume was at 1. I think, right? No, not even that. It's 3/4 to half at volume, and in the room it's still loud as hell. Speaker left was the greenbacks, which, for what people have said online, that this amp loves greenback speakers. It just sounds the best through them. The right speaker is a redback. So, and I can tell listening to the, obviously, pre-production is that the redback has a little more low end to it, to where obviously the greenback does not. So it's a great balance on that cabinet right there, my 2x12. Whenever I play a show, well, I shouldn't say whenever, I only play one show with this amp, I asked the sound man red or green, if you know, you know, and he went with green, which is fine because the greenback sounds great. Even my 412, I got two greenbacks in here. So playing it through both cabinets, which I've done in here, it sounds great. This amp loves 2 cabinets. It can definitely handle 1 cabinet, but if you're running both, this thing just loves it. So let's go over some of the specs. It's 50 watts. There's let's see, on the front panel, which I took pictures here and whatnot, you're gonna see a switch that goes from low, mid to high. That's 1 watt, 10 watt, or 50 watts. And then of course the on-off switch, no standby, which amps back then didn't use standby. So this is definitely going back to the old vintage amplifiers. Before a standby switch was in, you turn it on, the valves warm up, and then you're good. Which you can still do this day. We don't need standby switches. I think we've just, as guitar players and musicians, been told by marketing or amplifier companies, you need an amp with standby switch. No, we don't. So of course it has a presence, master volume, and then an EQ section, which is basic. A tilt knob, which if you guys are familiar with the Marshall Plexis, what you do with a Plexi is that you would plug your guitar to one input and then slave the other two inputs together. So you can have the low and the high channels basically blend together. This does that right there. They just put in the circuitry, you just have the knob. My tilt's pretty high. It's just past 8, almost 9 o'clock. So, and then it has, of course, the preamp gain on the very far right, and if you pull out the pot, it does boost it. It does have a foot switch that has effects loop turned on and boost. This amp is made with an effects loop. I'll get to the back now. Of course, it has 3 speaker connectors, one for one 16 ohm, or it has 2 8 ohms. You can run 1 8 ohm or 2 16 ohms, not 2 8 ohms. Don't do that. You'll blow up the amp. Well, not blow it up, but you'll definitely damage it or completely just kill it. So 2 16 ohm cabinets if you plug it into 2 8 ohms, which is what I'm doing right now, and then 1 16 ohm, which I've done at the show, and then has a DI out, which you have to use a IR simulator for whatever computer you have or whatnot. I don't own any impulse responses on anything, so I can't show you that. And then of course the effects loop has an effects loop and an input for the foot switch, and then that's it. It's a pretty simple amplifier. So we're just going to bounce through. I'm going to leave the EQ where it's at. I'm just going to kind of show you guys how loud this thing can go. I'm not going high in volume. I just want to make that very clear. I've done that once here before just to test it out. It was kind of a bad idea. I scared my dog. I scared myself. Stuff in the walls were shaking. If you want to see this, hear this amp in action live, I will put a link in the description to the Blue Jays channel where a fan took some clips and you can hear how loud the amp is. And I was not in the monitors. I want to stress that. He was up front, so what you're hearing is the guitar hitting him in the face. Even the drummer was like, yeah, I can actually hear you for once, and I didn't need you in the drum monitor, which is literally like right here next to a drummer. So we're gonna leave the amp settings where they're at, which are, let's see, presence I have at 9, volume I have at 1/2 to 3/4. Let's see, treble is at 8, maybe 8 1/4. Mid is the same thing, bass is at 1/2. Gain is at, tilt is at 8 1/2, 9 o'clock. And the preamp gain is almost the same. Everything's almost the same, identical settings. To be fair, I did use a booster right here, my Horizon Devices drive, for the song. I think this amp is great for punk rock, it's great for rock and roll, it's great for jazz and blues. It's not a metal amplifier. You can get an 80s thrash tone, maybe, but you got to put a lot in here to do that. So this amp is not meant for metal, which is why I bought it for Blue Jay and the Pigeons, because we are not metal at all. So you're going to hear the clean tone and then the overdriven tone. I might do different guitars. My Strat, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use this guitar first, then I'm gonna bounce to the Strat, then we're gonna bounce to the Soul R7. You can hear how it handles with the 7-string, and you'll see me go through the watts. I'll probably just use this guitar just for that, because it's just simple that way. So you're gonna see me actually bounce through the watts and all that. So right now we're starting at 1 watt, so enjoy the sounds. If you're new to the channel, hello, hit subscribe, hit that bell. Check out marshallamps.com. It's Marshalls. marshallamps.com if that's the correct website, which it may or may not be, but just look up Marshall. It's easy to find. There's no affiliate link in the description at all. Marshall has no idea who the fuck I am. I bought this with my own money. So everything that I demo here, I either paid for with my own money or it was sent to me, it was given to me. But not with the expectation that I have to say anything good about it. I still have my own opinion. So this amp is great. I love it. So enjoy the sounds and we'll see you in the next video. As you can see, that's very, very loud. I had to stop just because the preamp was clipping. And I want to stress that, let's see, this was at, hang on a minute. I'm going to show you guys what this was at. So you're going to go with me here. Okay. All right, let's see where we're at here. Just, if you guys can see that, just around 1 o'clock. That's at 1. I shouldn't say 1 o'clock. That's at 1. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this is an insanely loud amplifier. You get to see my office in a 360 spin. So that's it, guys. There's enough demos of this amp around the internet. I just want to show you kind of how I use it. I pretty much just use the non-boosted, with the preamp knob not pushed out. I use that for solos. I pretty much use this for the clean tone, aka neck pickup, rolled down with the volume. Sorry. I don't know if I'll ever use it at 50 watts. As you guys can tell, that was insanely loud. I mean, the waveform, everything was in red as soon as I went to 50 watts. 10 watts seems to be a nice middle ground for almost all aspects for this thing, whether it be in here or at rehearsal or even live. So I think I'll just leave the amp at 10 watts, which is great because that means I'm not going to be pushing the amp that much. I won't have to rebias it whenever I retube it. A lot of demos I've seen online, people have the cabs in a different room, then they're really pushing the amp into overdrive to break up stuff, which I've come to find with this pedal here, you kind of get that sound without actually having to blast the volume. So if you don't have one of these, I know it's the Tokyo version, I got the normal version lying around here somewhere, maybe get that and use one of those, or maybe just an overdrive pedal in general. But I love this amp. I give it 5 stars. This is the loudest amp, I want to say most versatile aside from extreme metal, just because Blue Jay and the Pigeons, we do a mixture of blues, jazz, rock and roll, 70s rock, 70s punk, 80s punk. It's perfect for that group. I know I've said that before about my orange amps. Those are great too. This is where it's at. Well, there we go. That's where it's at. There are speakers out there that Celestia makes now that have kind of an attenuator type situation. So I might look into those if I really want to push dampen and overdrive, but at the same time, I get it with that. I get it with the pedal. So anyways, guys, that's it. Hopefully I'm able to use some of this audio for it. But yeah, that was a doozy going to 50 watts at 1. So anyways, hit subscribe, hit that bell. See ya.